Hey, welcome to the 2 Hour Grind. I'm Nate, and today I'm going to be working on a Jessie from Team Rocket. I'm going to be drawing a pretty good sketch of her, hopefully. Let's see how it turns out. So there's a sketch already. I kind of worked on it a little bit. I was trying to come up with ideas of like my next stream and who I wanted to draw next, and I'll cover a couple of those. In between though, while I'm drawing, I had a lot of fun on a couple of my previous streams. He's got his name on his armor, so he's got his name on his armor. So I think I got to revisit him. I'm kind of disappointed that I used the blue pencil on the gray paper because I couldn't really clean it up enough when I tried to go back in and clean it up. And I think he deserves another revisit eventually. Not today, of course. I'm going to be working on Team Rocket's Jessie. And then I also did... Alright, I don't fucking know. Happening again. The other one of my streams that I did was Pikachu in the Charizard bone armor. I had a lot of fun making this one too, so that one is also up on my channel. And I, ripping a couple packs while drawing, it's really kind of fun. Ripping a couple packs while drawing, it's really kind of fun. So I'm gonna continue that trend today. I've got 9 packs to. Dun, 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 dun. Let me see, which way do I want to rip this thing open? Looks like the side. See what packs we'll get. Put a couple of them in order. It's reconnecting again. I can't. It keeps doing the reconnecting thing. I need to mess with some settings, I guess. So it might be a minute before I get started. I'll have the chapters down below if you're catching this later on. If you're catching it now, bear with me, guys. I'm going to try to figure it out. So it keeps doing the same thing. So I'm trying to, sorry guys, trying to figure this out. The reconnecting thing is kind of annoying. Every setting I change and it just does the same thing over and over. It's probably this restream. I might have to just, or Streamlabs, one of the two. Let me see if I can find anything. That is not what I wanted to see. Dun, 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 dun. Now for the past 3 minutes while I'm looking for looking for help, it's just been connected the whole time. Not doing the reconnecting glitch. It just keeps doing it though. It's annoying. I'm sorry if it does it again. I will try to stop talking at those times and continue when it picks back up. Anyway, I'm gonna rip through these. We'll pull out the packs, see what's in each one. Oh, they're jumping out at me. So the knockout collections are pretty cool. Surging Sparks, Twilight Masquerade. So I've opened some of both of those already. You get a cool little sticker pack in each one based on the... As I'm trying to read and flip it around at the same time. So let's open these, see what packs I get in here. See what packs I get in here. I would imagine it's the same too. Little sticker sheet. Twilight Masquerade, Surging Sparks. So as I go through it, I will be ripping some packs while I'm drawing. I'll talk about my drawing, you know, everything about the drawing and how I set up my art. Recently, all these were basically Target the other day, so there is stuff hitting the shelves. It's very rare that I ever find any. Pokemon out and about though. Most of the time I don't make the restocks, but I think with Pokemon 30th anniversary, they are sending a bunch to stores. So hopefully you guys are getting some chance to pick up some good stuff and all the scalpers aren't grabbing everything. I like how Target is limiting you to 2. I like how Target limits you to 2 packs per each one. I don't think it saves my settings when I'm streaming. I think that's probably why it's not really working. I keep trying to change settings while it's streaming. That might be a problem. Anyway, the cool little Raikou promo. And then a Mega Evolution and a Phantasmal Flames. And Mabalstiff is the last pack that I got. So 3 more packs in this pack. The promo card is by himself just hanging out. He's an EX. He's got the Black Star promo on there. Pretty cool. And I get 3 packs in this one. So we get 1 Journey Together, 1 Destined Rivals, 2 Destined Rivals. So we get the Mewtwo. So the Destined Rivals is a cool set too. So we're actually getting a good little assortment of different packs while I'm going to be doing this drawing today. So a couple Twilights, a couple Surging Sparks, a Mega Evolution, Phantasmal Flame, Journey Together. I'm going to just do like a little mix, kind of mix them up a little bit. So it's one. I was onto it. I asked my great nephew, who's 5, who his favorite 2 Pokemon are, and he told me. So he liked Totodile, and then he came back and he was like, actually I like Beedrill too. And I was like, all right, cool. So and he came back and he was like, actually I like Beedrill too. And I was like, all right, cool. So one of the ideas I'm gonna have that's gonna come back around eventually. I'm gonna work up a kind of like I'm gonna dope. So he'll be coming up in one of my streams, I think, once I figure out how I want to sketch it. Today, though, all right, on to today. I want to draw Jessie from Team Rocket. All right, on to today. I'm going to be drawing Jessie from Team Rocket. The old ridiculous anime. Oh my fucking god, dude. This connecting glitch. I can't stand the reconnecting. Alright. From the old anime. So we got Jessie. She's, you know, been in the cards, been in the games. She's been around. So she's, you know, kind of a cool character. They always end up, you know, losing to Ash and his squad. And they always got Meowth with them, even though it's not one of her, like, main Pokemon that she uses. So I was trying to figure out exactly how I want to do this. I kind of came up with like a quick sketch. I then transferred her to a little bit of a better piece of paper. However, still not what I want to do. I threw her Arbok in there. I think Meowth is going to be riding him, and then so I kind of got the good pose. I kind of got it almost to where I want it. I'm going to slide her up just a little bit on the paper, and just so her whole foot is on there. I'm one of those that I don't like cutting off certain parts of a body. It looks weird if you're just cutting off a hand or something, right? You know, you could zoom in and catch just part of an image of a character, and it can look really good, but I like to try to get the full figure sometimes. So it's going to be full figure, and I want to transfer her actually to a grayscale paper because her outfit... So she's going to be transferred to grayscale paper because her outfit's white, so it'll really kind of bring it together, right? So the shadows will already be kind of in there, and then I can use that white Uniposca to kind of make her pop out where I want her to. So that's going to be my first step, is transferring sketch to the other piece of paper. I'm going to try to find this one thing real quick, again, to help with this damn reconnecting glitch. I don't know if I'll be able to mess with the settings while I'm doing this. So I'm already about 15 minutes into this stream and I haven't even started drawing yet. It's kind of annoying. I don't know if it's going to save it anyway. I don't think it's saving it when I click the settings and then click off it. Oh, that one did. Alright, we'll try it again. We'll try. Hold on. Try one more thing. I know I looked at something else that looked correct. Where was that? We'll see how it goes. Alright, so light tracer comes in handy. I'm one of those that draws things and then I'll transfer it, right? If you've watched some of my streams where I start from scratch, I scribble a lot, I draw a lot, I make a lot of make a lot of lines, make a lot of mess. So I'm gonna start with that. I gotta shut lights off so I can be able to see this through the paper. I want to slide her up a little bit so I can try to get that foot in there, not cut her hand off either. So it's going to be kind of close to the edge. I don't like really doing it that much, but sometimes I draw a little bit bigger than I need to. foot will still kind of be off. Still don't have enough room. I tried sliding her up, but I didn't want her head to be too close to the top either, or the edge. Alright, so there will be like, you know, I'll have to make some changes and fix things up as I go through it. But so far, you know, as I put down that first sketch, I'm going to move Arbok down some so there's more room because I want to put Meowth riding it. And like the Arbok is like, I think when I looked up its stats, it's like 11 foot. So, you know, it's going to be almost human size when it's standing up kind of. These like eyes on his chest almost remind me of Spider-Man. If you guys didn't watch the Spider-Man Brand New Day trailer, it's out. It's awesome. I'm super excited for it. Lots of cool like homages for like the old comic covers and things that popped up on there. I was like, oh man, it's gonna be sick. I hope they do a good job with it. See how it goes. Dun dun dun, switch lights around. Drawing board back out. Alright, so sketch transferred. do when I draw, only because I want to make that space feel correct, right? I want to put things in space and they're like in there and not just flat on your paper. So overlapping is one of those things that's kind of important when you're trying to make that, you know, that adjustment, that look, that illusion, I guess, is what I was looking for. All right, so Meowth, kind of riding the Arbok. I don't know. I was just trying to have some fun with it and come up with something kind of cool, something a little different. So my original sketch, I actually had like the ekans, I don't know, however you want to pronounce it, wrapped kind of around her arm. But then she has the Pokeball in her hand. I was like, I don't know, she's throwing it. She's gonna be summoning something else. So I know her actual main is that. So you know, Meowth just kind of hangs out too. I don't know. I was just gonna, like I said, just trying to have some fun and make something kind of interesting, kind of cool. They always got beat by the 10-year-old kids in the old anime, so in the video games, right? All right. First pack, let's go. So I'm gonna rip some packs on and off. All right, I'm about 27 minutes in, about a good time. I got my sketch ready. I'm gonna just basically go over the pencils. I kind of want to try to leave her skin and, you know, the white like not rendered with pencil. There will be some areas that I'll kind of render like shadows or where the value will be, but most of it's just gonna be line work and that contour line. But in between that, let's go. Twilight Masquerade. Let's rip a pack. Almost looks like a piece of sushi. Got a jamming tower. Glaceon. Shinx, that one's kind of cute. Sinistra as the first of the rares. Oh, the Feebas was my reverse hollow. So was the Shinx. I just jumped right to it because it was the shiny one, right? Sinistra, my first rare out of all of them. Set those up top. All right, back to penciling. I think I actually, let's see, it was one of the One Piece cards that when I was ripping One Piece where it had, oh gosh, what was her name? Should have pulled it. I just put them all away when I when I ripped them the other day. But one of them kind of had a pose that was similar to this, and that's where I took the inspiration from. So the sketch isn't quite like as scribbly, but that's another great card line that I've been collecting. I love it. Like the art on it is so good. And One Piece is another one that's been around almost the same amount of time. The anime, almost the same amount of time the Pokemon has been, right? I think it's only like a year or two off, a couple years off. I think I'm going to do another one of these trainers. Probably do Misty. Gotta do an adult Misty though, not the original Misty. But I think I'll, you know, might work her into one of these streams here soon. Another rip and draw. Kind of having some fun with these, you know, combining everything I like to do on my channel, you know, as one long video or one video. And it's live, you know, never know what I'll pull. Could hit something rad. Now, if you notice, I spin my paper a lot. Don't fight against, you know, how your hand moves, how your wrist rotates, right? You have a natural curve to your art and, like, keep it, right? Don't try to fight against it and be like, oh, I gotta draw it this way or that way when you're drawing. Like, keep that wrist rotation. You know, if you gotta rotate the paper, do it. Spin it around. I know that's probably pretty, you know, elementary, but sometimes, you know, I see people that try to just keep going and draw it. It's, unless you're on like a wall and you can't really, you know, you can't really change it, just go with it. No, like I said earlier, I don't want to render it too much. I want to be able to like go in, add the white Uniposca. I want to be able to add like the skin tone. And one of the things that happens when you're using pencil is like it'll kind of blur or blend it or mix it or smear it or smudge it, whatever you want to call it. And it's something I'm trying to avoid when I do coloring because I do want to add some color to this picture for today. Hopefully I can work it out and get all the, you know, similar colors to all these Pokemon and the characters have. I still need to order a new red. My red has been dying for a while and I keep forgetting to go get a new one. When I go hunt some cards this week, it'll be something I do. Stop at Michael's or something and try to get a new red Prismacolor marker or Copic that's not the same. Because I think the couple Copics I have are like a crimson red, or like they're not a pure, they're like more of a like purplish red or a little mix. I don't really care for it as much as the pure red. Got 3 fingers, 3 toes. You're not going to see his toes, you're just going to see his fingers. But some of them have 5, some of them have 3. He's a 3. one of the things I don't want to do is like line this up with her leg, right? I don't want to have that like tangent where both lines line straight up, so that's why it was a little bit higher, or I go a little bit lower below it. So I think below it's going to be the where it's at right here. I could always put another one up here for that last line. I don't have an image of him in front of me besides the quick sketch that I did. It looks like it goes up pretty high though from what I did previously. So I think that's going to be all right. I'll do that. Erase a little bit. Clean this up. One of the things to be mindful of when you're drawing, right? You don't want to like line things up so they, you know, things that are in the foreground or background that have that straight line that goes across and they meet. It's going to make it look weird. When they're overlapping, try to shift it a little bit so they're not straight across. All right, I'm about 45 minutes in, pack 2, because I got, 9 packs to rip, so let's try this one out. Destined Rivals, Scarlet and Violet. Now this one does have a lot of the Team Rocket stuff in there, so it's going to fit for the theme of today's drawing session, right? Pack, rip, and draw. MC's hype. Let's get hype. I need an MC. Where's my MC at? Get one in here. Hype us up. Rapid Dash is always kind of a cool looking one too. The fire on the horse. Alright, so Hippopotas is my first reverse hollow. And then Team Rocket's Mimikyu. See, this is one I like too. Oh, this is one I like too that I'd like to draw. Maybe he's kind of cute, like, you know what I mean. It's Pikachu, but kind of like a ghosty one. I think that one's so awesome. And then that's followed by Team Rocket's Persian. All right. So Meowth's next evolution. Not that he ever does it, but pretty dope. And then my Fire Energy. Nobody cares about the energy cards. I don't know why people always like take that one and put it in the front. Like, nobody cares. Just leave it at the end of the stack and just go through them. Anyway, my own personal opinion. Continuing the pencils a little bit longer. Finish the Arbok. Finish her hair. Finish the Pokeball arm. And then it's on to inking. Well, on to color first. Then I will ink it at the end. So, you know, it might be a 2.5 hour grind. I know I call it the 2 hour grind all the time. Sometimes it lasts a little bit longer. like, you know, her hair kind of reminds me of a snake, right? Kind of fits her, who she has as our starting Pokemon, which is just Snake backwards, right? There's another spot I don't want it to line up. You know, I almost lined it up with the Pokeball itself, and then, you know, so I got to push it up a little bit so it goes where her finger is and not where the Pokeball line is. I don't want to, like, again, don't want to line things up when they're overlapping. To make that illusion, put something in front of the other. You know, shift it just a little bit. Even if it doesn't always work exactly, you know, you're like, oh, but that's going to mess up my proportions or whatever it might be. Figure out a way to make it work. Alright, too much. Too busy. Gets a little weird with the overlap here. I don't know. Or maybe he doesn't go enough. I feel like this one flares out a little bit more. So maybe I gotta flare that one out a little bit more. I don't want to get it too close. I don't want it to be exactly where this is ending. So that's tough. Because that is where it wants to go. Alright, we just hit that 1 hour mark for the 2 hour grind. I'm almost done pencils. Time for another pack? What do you think? Yes, no? Let's go. Alright, Surgeon Sparks. There's some pretty good hits in the Surgeon Sparks wave too. Scarlet and Violet. Let's see what we get. I love it when they open from the top perfectly like that, and you can kind of keep the, you know, keep the booster pack untorn. Alright, we got Esper. Reverse Hollow. Followed by a Vulpix. Alright, cute little Vulpix. Followed by a Landorus. That is my rare for this pack. Kind of a cool character. Don't know how good he is in a pack or in a deck, but you know, maybe. Maybe. Alright. Alright, so moving on. We're going to keep girling on this. I think I'm basically ready for some color. Gotta look up a Meowth real quick, because his head shape is just a little off, I think. I don't think I quite got him. Doesn't have that. It's more round. That's on me. Tail can be a little thicker than that. It's got the brown at the end. Three fingers, got the gold. Little like pharaoh thing. kind of him. Maybe not as cute. I don't know. It's pretty close. All right, Team Rocket. Close. All right, Team Rocket. Little Team Rocket, little Jessie, little Arbok, little Meowth, riding around. Time for some color. Gonna have to set that up real quick. Get these packs moved a little bit. A couple exclusive cards. As I like to do, I like to practice the colors. So I gotta get, you know, Meowth is a brown, and then he's got like the tan. So need a little reference for the Arbok. I gotta do a couple little things, find those colors, put them down real quick. Try a couple things out as I get started.